She ate your cheese. Break up. It's not just a cancel the wedding thing, it's more like a cancel the relationship type of thing. Are you living with your girlfriend or are you living with a spoiled puppy? Hey guys, I'm V and welcome to today's episode. Today's theme of the episode is Naughty or Nice, the OPs in our Reddit stories may need to think twice. We've got some spicy, some chaotic ones, and of course a wild pick as usual. So let's get right into it. Our first story is from the subreddit aita. Am I the a-hole for calling off my wedding after my fiance's surprise gift? So I, 30-year-old female, have been engaged to my fiance Mark, 32-year-old male, for about a year. And we've been together for 3 years. I've always known Mark to be a bit unconventional. He's very creative and sometimes takes things a little too far in the name of surprise or excitement. Most of the time, I love his adventurous spirit, but this time, not so much. A couple of weeks ago, we had a small get together with some close friends to celebrate our upcoming wedding. Mark had mentioned that he had a surprise for me, which I figured would be something sweet, like a heartfelt gift or maybe a romantic gesture. Well, as the night went on, after a few drinks, Mark finally revealed his gift. He pulled out what looked like a box from a special jewelry store. My heart raced with excitement as I assumed it was a lovely bracelet or a special memento for our wedding day. But when he opened the box, I was absolutely stunned. Inside was a key to a house he supposedly bought for us. I was taken aback because I had no idea he was even looking for real estate. My first reaction was one of shock and confusion as I thought it was a huge decision that we should have discussed together. Okay, first thoughts on Mark's gift. I was expecting, okay, maybe my mind is in the gutter for the story. I have to admit, when OP was saying how her fiance was, preparing this big box of surprise, and then she was kind of building it up and saying, okay, really excited. He pulls out a box. I'm thinking jewelry or something sexual. Honestly, I thought he was going to gift her some lingerie or something. Fiance, wedding gift, something like that, or jewelry. I think a house is a good thing typically. Am I looking a gift the wrong way? Because I think it's really nice to buy your partner something big, but when it comes to surprises, especially, I feel like you need to go the opposite of go big or go home. You need to go small, unless you are absolutely sure whoever you're gifting it to is going to be 100% happy. I don't know. I'm kind of with OP here so far. Buying a house without telling your fiance feels a little bit like a red flag. What are your first thoughts?
Yeah, I think we need to have more context about this because it could be, let's say, a key to a new house that's still yet to be built. For example, it's a newly built house, or it's a like a kind of like a symbol key, right? To say that, oh, we're gonna buy a house.
Oh.
I got my things in order. I got the down
Oh.
payment, etc., and we can start looking for a house. So, but if it, I guess, OP's fiance actually bought the house, I think that is, I mean, that is quite a commitment to make without consulting your future partner.
Surprise. Now, it does say it's for a house that he supposedly bought. So I think it's a real key. It's interesting that you brought up it depends on what type of house, though. Here's my worry. What if they have totally different tastes in the house? I don't know where OP lives, but what if he bought like a freaking beach house and she's more of a city girl or something? Or worse, what if he has horrible taste and he bought some shack?
I mean, besides the point, when I think of a house, I think of a pretty long commitment.
Well,
Potentially,
either way, right? No
it's
matter
yeah,
what,
it's
it's a
a
big
huge
piece of property.
financial commitment.
Do you think it matters if he uses his money first or he uses only his money to buy the house versus using a shared fund? Do you think it matters who technically paid for it? Because they're not married yet. So I'm assuming that means maybe they could or could not have combined their finances.
Even so, I think you're basically just about to marry someone. In
Yeah.
my opinion, I think you would want to discuss that with your partner. I mean, it seems on paper, it seems like a nice gesture, but when you think more closely to it, uh, doesn't seem like a good idea to do it without your partner's consent or input.
See, that's why I said it was a kind of a red flag because beyond just the house, the fact that this guy, I'm hoping it's a joke or something where the fiance goes, aha, got you. I actually got you. I don't know, a Tiffany bracelet or something. Because This seems stressful. You're about to get married and this is what you're going to pull. I think house buying can be stressful. And to pull that right before the wedding is bold. So let's see. Opie says, as I processed the moment, I realized the house wasn't just any house, it was a fixer upper on the outskirts of town. Now, I get that can be a great investment, but this particular house needed a ton of work. I'm talking major renovations and repairs, and honestly, I had no desire to live there. Mark had not consulted me at all before making this purchase, and I felt blindsided. Normally, I would be overjoyed about investing in our future together, but the fact that he had made such a significant commitment without me crushed me. I quietly took the key and told him we needed to talk about this. As we stepped outside, I expressed how hurt I felt that he had made such a big decision without discussing it with me first, and that it felt like a violation of trust. Mark got defensive and insisted that this was a wonderful surprise, a way for us to start our lives together. He said I was missing the bigger picture and that I should be excited about our future. Honestly, I just felt overwhelmed and confused. I told him I didn't think we were ready for this and that we should focus on our wedding first. After a heated argument, I made the gut wrenching decision to call off the wedding. Mark was devastated and our friends were shocked. I had just ruined what was supposed to be a happy night and I felt horrible. Since then, Mark has been trying to reach out, saying he wishes we could talk it over, but I can't shake the feeling that he disrespected my feelings and my input in our relationship. I've been reflecting on whether I overreacted. Am I the a hole for calling off the wedding after his surprise gift? Maybe I missed it. So, this was a public gift as well. Oh, so Mark had announced the surprise and then shared it with OP right at a small get together with close friends, which was supposed to be like a, yay, we're getting married celebration type of thing. I think there's only one thing worse than a bad surprise. It's a public bad surprise. Oh my gosh. I think fiance did a big boo boo. No. Do you like or have you done public gift openings?
Mm, I know that generally in American culture, I think that is the norm, right?
See, I don't know. And I say I don't know because most of the time, I'd say 90% of the time, I go to a person's birthday party. If they're an adult, they don't open the gifts. So it's kind of like they accept a gift, you go in as a guest, you say, "Oh, happy birthday, here's a gift." And then they're like, "Thank you." And then they put it on the side, like a table with the gifts or something, right? But kids' parties, they open the gift. Like I see a lot of kids' parties and they'll open it and everyone kind of sits in a circle to see, ooh, who got the kid what type of thing. That with that being said, I have been to a bridal shower and other kind of bigger events where people literally the guest of honor or no, not the guest, the host of honor, I guess, or the person of honor sat in the middle while everyone stared as they opened each and every gift and read out who it was from. Personally, I think it's so awkward. I think unless it's almost like an intimate, you're really, really comfortable with the friend or whoever gave you the gift, or they're like, ooh, please do open my gift to you. Like, I think if the gifter wants the giftee to open the gift and see the reaction, because I think that's part of the fun in gift giving. Like, Christmas, I think, is like the one thing that's like, oh, yeah, for sure, you open gifts in front of each other type of thing. That's kind of normalized. But on birthdays or other types of events, I'm kind of like, let's open it in secret. Only because, okay, have you guys ever experienced an awkward moment or witnessed an awkward moment where someone gifts someone a bad gift and then you can see the person trying to hide the reaction, but they're just like visibly disappointed? It is so awkward. And then it's just like, oh, thank you. It's just bad. It's just bad. I think your fiance did a big boo boo OP. To not only make such a big decision without your partner is a one red flag, right? But then to do that in public? No. I'm sorry, no. That's a no. Now, do we think to answer OP's question, is it overreacting to call off the wedding for this though? I would say no, because technically, I'm going the technical route. You are free to call off the wedding for whatever reason you choose if you feel that way. But in a more kind of empathetic sense, I would say it depends. I hate to say this. I think I'm going to straddle middle of the road. I'm not sure. I'm not sure if OP's an a hole because Say Mark is really, clueless, just so clueless and so rash, and he made this impulse decision, and he just had a dumb moment. Then whether or not OP forgives him and whether or not the relationship continues, I guess you could argue that it might be an overreaction because it seems like they're getting married very, very soon. So I'm assuming all the deposits are still there. I know. It's icky to think about the financial aspect of it, but weddings are expensive. And so to cancel everything, I'm a little bit worried for OP because, oh no, wait, they just bought this shack. I'm calling it a shack because it's a really, it's a totally, I'm assuming like you have to gut the house. OP calls it the fixer upper on the edge of town. So they bought this big house and now they also are trying to pay for this big wedding. I don't know. I feel like only OP can answer whether or not it's an overreaction. What do you think?
Yeah, I'm on the fence on this one as well. I guess you're right. On one side, it's a big boo boo to make such a big decision without your partner. On the other hand, I'm looking at the intent behind the gift,
Yeah.
and that I think intent was genuine. And
Nice, I think.
yeah, I think how else would you take
Right?
it?
Like no one's going to buy a house to spite you, I think.
I mean, yeah, for sure.
Right?
Like, I don't think it's an argument here, right? It is the intent was good. So was it an overreaction? I don't know. I think it depends on their financial situation and in general, I guess, how their relationship is.
Yeah. So I don't feel comfortable telling OP, yeah, call off that wedding. Or no, it's not that big of a deal because it really is a big deal. So I am middle of the road.
I mean, calling off the wedding is a big deal, either way you
Oh,
put it.
well,
It's
yeah. But
financially, it's not a
yeah.
smart decision.
I mean, even emotionally.
Right.
And dang, but the house is also a big deal. So I guess, okay, you know what, OP, I don't think you are an a-hole nor did you overreact for calling it off. But whether or not you decide to stick to your decision is another one. Like, I think that's for you to decide. Also, I hope OP has some sort of update because depending on what or how Mark reacts to this, because I know they had an argument and then now Mark's been trying to talk to you. I think maybe hear Mark out. See what he has to say, then make your decision because you guys have been together for 3 years and your relationship is deep enough where you wanted to marry the guy. So maybe communication is the way to go here. Now let's see what the comments say. First comment, not the a-hole. I'm divorced now, but when my ex-husband and I were married, we lived in an apartment together. We wanted to move into a house and he found one he fell in love with. I disagreed. It needed way too much work, didn't have central heat or air, only had a wood stove. It smelled awful because the previous tenants had their hunting dogs stay locked in one of the rooms. The owner had a large area we weren't allowed in because he had things stored there, etc. He agreed with the owner to have us move in anyway without telling me. I told him he at least needed to get everything in writing. We were supposed to be doing rent to own. The owner was a wealthy man but told us we could pay a reduced amount if we fixed up the property. I had concerns about this because we had a 1-year-old at the time and both worked full time, opposite shifts. We were also living paycheck to paycheck. Well, he didn't get anything in writing, just got the keys and started fixing it up himself. Again, without telling me. We ended up putting way too much money into this house, only ended up living there for about a year. Our relationship never really recovered after that. I posted this long comment to say, never stay with somebody who's willing to do whatever they want without consulting you. It doesn't work out and you will always resent them. Oof. Well, I feel like we got like a storyception there. We got a Reddit story within a Reddit story. Um, okay, first off, commenter, I feel so sorry for you. That's dreadful. And it seems like your husband at the time or your ex-husband is extremely financially irresponsible. Okay. I have to say I agree with this comment. Not that like I still stand. OP's not the a-hole. But if this is a consistent behavior where fiance is just gonna willy-nilly drop money on big investments or purchases like a big house and things like that that impact you both without telling you, yeah, I would say it's not just a cancel the wedding thing. It's more like a cancel the relationship type of thing.
The counter argument could be, what if Hopi's fiance is well off and
Oh, like extremely just like
well, I
throw
mean,
money
yeah, and this is
anywhere
just
rich.
kind of investment property or something like that, that he can afford it and it's not really a big financial burden.
See, I would still say on the principle, you should say something because your partner, you're about to get married to this person. Like, I feel like on the principle of it, still say something, like give a heads up. If that's a situation for Mark here, the fiance. But I think the fact that I'm annoyed with is where is it that he expects them? Does he expect them to? Oh, yeah. He expects them to live there together. Like, this is a home for them to live in and move in together. That for me is a big no no. So if it's just like, oh, babe, look, I bought this house or I bought this yacht and it needs to be fixed up, but I'm wealthy. Don't worry about it. I just, FYI. Yeah, go for it, Mark. Go buy all those houses and properties. Build your monopoly property life, okay? But to live there, ah. Although it's interesting. I never thought I would say that gifting a gifted house is a bad thing, but I guess there is such thing as a bad gifted house. Now, what would you say if I said, hey, babe, your birthday's coming up. I have a surprise for you. Close your eyes. And I tell you to open your eyes, and I hold in my hands a key to a house. What is your first initial gut reaction to that?
It better be a good investment.
So you wouldn't care if if the house was like nice looking or like 2 floors versus whatever or the aesthetics. You care more about, was it a good deal?
I'm kind of joking here, of course. I would definitely want you to consult, you know, me, I guess, and I would do the same if I
Yeah.
were to make such a decision. So, but ultimately, if it was kind of, I don't know what kind of situation it would have to be, but if it was like, yeah, do the deal now, it's a once in a lifetime opportunity, and you have no time to consult me, which seems very unrealistic, of course. But
If I hit the lottery, or no, what if I join one of those raffles where you guys have, no, you get those spam emails where they're like, join this raffle to get a house. I wonder if anyone ever wins, to be honest. But hey, babe, I entered a raffle. We won a house. Would you be excited?
if it's real, yeah, hopefully.
There hasn't been a judgment yet, since this story is pretty new and there are no updates. So you guys will have to let me know if there's an update. Now, I don't know how you guys feel about surprises, but I generally like them when they're relatively small and harmless-ish. And if you guys like more stories with unexpected surprises like this, don't forget to like this episode and hit subscribe, guys. It really helps. All right. Now, our next story is our wild pick. Dun, 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 dun. Wild pick is just that, a story that's a little kooky, a little bit chaotic. But when I read it, I thought I want to have you guys hear it. So this story is from the subreddit AITH. Am I the hoe for breaking up with my girlfriend over cheese? For some backstory, I, 24-year-old female, have been dating my girlfriend, 23-year-old female, for a little over a year. We've been living together for 5 months. I would say we're an average couple, happy most times, but we argue here and there. The main reason why we argue is because she has a streak of acting very entitled and spoiled at times. She will do things I specifically ask her not to do, and if I get upset, she will cry and make excuses for herself and only apologize if she feels like I'm ignoring her, i.e., when I'm too exhausted to keep entertaining her. She'll eat my leftovers, leave the apartment a mess. It's my apartment. Invite people over and let them leave the apartment a mess, etc. This has been happening at least once a week since we moved in together. Okay, quick pause here. OP, by chance, are you living with your girlfriend or are you living with a spoiled puppy? What do you mean? She just has random people over. She cries for attention all the time. And she eats all your leftovers and leaves a mess wherever she goes. This is, I feel like this is a puppy, not a partner. Okay, in partnerships, it's fine if you guys take turns spoiling each other. And sometimes when things get rough, you leave a little bit of mess. But this seems stressful. I mean, I'm most stressed. Maybe I'm a little bit biased. I'm most stressed by the fact that she's always eating your food. I mean, I guess, okay, it's both of your food now that you live together. So I guess the question is, are you guys low on food or what's going on? Why is it a problem that she's eating your leftovers? Like, you guys live together. You've been living together for 5 months. Like, do you even like your girlfriend? I'm confused. Sometimes we read stories and the first thing I'm thinking about is, you don't sound like you enjoy her company at all. For someone who's in a relationship for this long.
I guess that's why they're broken up.
But over cheese? Well, let's see where the cheese comes in. Opie says, yesterday there was a holiday market about 2 hours away. She had sent me a post about it a week ago and kept talking about how she wanted to go. So I rented an Airbnb for the weekend for the both of us to go together. Oh, That's so cute. That's sweet. That's sweet. Opie says, we ended up getting into an argument day of because she's never had to stay in an Airbnb before and convinced herself that the hosts were going to spy on us or kidnap us or kill us or something. I mean, valid fear. You just never know. You hear all those Airbnb horror stories. You never know. But, okay, I'm not going to lie to you guys. Whenever we stay anywhere, hotel or Airbnb, I do a little sweep, like not that I know what I'm looking for, just to see if there's any like very obvious cameras or webcams in the room. Because it's creepy, you know? I get paranoid. You don't know what the Airbnb host has done. It's not like Airbnb officials like check the property in person before they green light someone to house people on Airbnb. Okay. So I'm a little paranoid. And I have been guilty of asking M to be like, hey babe, did you check the vents up there? Did you look inside? Did you shine a little flashlight? I don't know if it does anything. I did debate buying one of those like camera detectors. Do you think it's a scam? You think those things work?
Only for certain cameras, I believe.
False sense of security. So I am kind of with the girlfriend so far, but I just don't understand what the argument would be. Like, is she just refusing to stay there like completely? Because I think this was a really nice gesture. Let's see. Opie says she got upset that I didn't get a hotel, even though every hotel in the area is so damn expensive, and I'm the only one with a job right now. I told her I was just gonna go by myself if she's gonna make such a big deal over nothing. And her exact words were, F you and your farmer's market, don't get me shit. So I go to the market and had fun by myself and got this very expensive imported European cheese. Mind you, this cheese was $40 for a pound, and I'm sure it would cost more having to buy it online because I know they don't sell this anywhere around here. I plan to make a meal with this cheese for me and her because I like to cook. I came back this morning and told her exactly, quote, do not eat the cheese in the refrigerator. It was expensive and I'm going to use it later. And you also said, don't get you anything, so it's not for you. She said, okay, and I went to work. You guys don't even like each other. I just telling your girlfriend, don't eat the cheese because I'm going to use it later. That's fine. But did you really need to add that one line at the NOP? Come on. You know what you did. Also, you said you didn't want anything, so I didn't get you anything. Okay. Everyone knows the universal sign when it comes to food. If your partner says, I don't want anything, don't get me anything, it means the exact opposite. You get her something. Doesn't matter if it's like a trinket, doesn't matter if it's a little snack. You get her something. OP.
I have to disagree with that one.
What?
The context of what happened earlier.
Yeah.
The partner basically said, F off, don't get me anything type of thing.
I'm not gonna lie. I totally mislooked that because of like the petty comment about the cheese. But you're correct. You're correct. They had a fight. But did she need to say it the next morning after like that?
I think they were being petty. They
Oh
were
my
both being petty.
gosh. I feel like these two were just so petty, back and forth. Okay. I will say, Opie, you are definitely justified in getting mad. The girlfriend, I think, was definitely out of line because she canceled the whole thing. Oh, if M surprised me with, oh, look, babe, you were talking about the holiday market. Well, guess what? We're going to have a weekend at this cute, like, Christmassy town, and we're going to go to the market and get really expensive $40 per pound European cheese. That must be some really delicious cheese, first of all. But $40 pound cheese and stay at an Airbnb. My first thing was, oh, great. When do we go? You know, that's a wonderful gift. Unlike the house in story one, I feel like Airbnb is big, but not big enough to be so petty. Do you think OP should have told her girlfriend, though, before booking the Airbnb? Like, do you think she's in the wrong for not even telling her partner about the Airbnb booking until she already did it?
I think it's okay in these circumstances.
Yeah, maybe I'm weird, but I also think it's a nice gesture gift thing.
Like it's 1 or 2 nights.
Yeah. Like it's not too much of a commitment.
Yeah.
Yeah. So OP says she texts me at work and says, promise not to be mad. And I immediately knew. She ate my cheese. What I did not expect was for her to eat the entire pound of cheese. I was gone for 6 hours and the entire pound is gone? I didn't text her back, but when I got home, I told her right away to pack her shit up and leave because I can't deal with her BS anymore. She started crying about how it's just cheese and that I'm getting mad over nothing. But I told her to leave before I called the police. She left in tears and is staying with her parents, who are texting me calling me an a-hole for breaking up with her and kicking her out over cheese. I think the issue is bigger than the cheese at this point, but maybe I overreacted. I don't know. Am I the a-hole? I can't believe this. I am siding with you, OP. Yes, break her. Wait, break her. Oh, don't break her. Oh my gosh. Break up with her over the damn cheese. She ate your cheese. Break up. It's done. It's the principle. I think OP's right. It's more than the cheese. It's the principle. It's like the layers and layers of everything she's done. And let's admit it. A pound of cheese, like what is that? Like about a wedge, like this big? Is that like a pound? Like a good wedge, right? I don't know why I'm making a circle shape right now with my hands. But imagine this wedge of cheese, right? Who, honestly, this cannot be common practice. Not that I'm judging anybody who does this, but who eats a pound of cheese in one sitting?
Yeah, I call BS on that one.
Oh, I think she did it on purpose.
I don't know if she even ate it. Maybe she had a little bit and then she
You think she hit it or tossed it?
hit it or tossed it. I think that's what happened.
That's messed up. That's messed up.
Some toxic stuff going on in that
Yeah.
relationship.
Oh my gosh. Okay, that's the word I was thinking. This whole relationship is very toxic. It just feels like both of them are like, especially from the ex now, is very much very petty, very much like, oh, like here's payback times a billion for this one thing because you said no. Okay, I'll make sure you're gonna regret this. That's the vibe I'm getting.
Yeah, if I had to guess, I think she, as I said, either tossed it or hit it to get some sort of reaction or get attention.
Yeah. You know, I'm actually on team she ate the cheese. Maybe it was really good cheese. Now, I wasn't a cheese fan before, guys, but now I can confidently say I understand the hype now of cheese. Because before I was used to eating like American sliced cheese in my burgers, which now I learned is what the heck is American cheese? I guess it's just super processed cheese, you know? So I didn't really get the hype. But when you get one of those wedges like from Trader Joe's or something where it's like Parmesan or Gouda cheese, and then you have a freshly sliced piece of cheese, it is so good. I can eat that thing by itself. So I do believe that she ate it.
A whole pound?
If it's Swiss cheese or something, like a light cheese, like a Gouda, yeah. Maybe not Parmesan or sharp cheddar. Why are you shaking your head? People eat cheese like that.
Yeah, but a pound?
If you guys have ever eaten a pound of cheese, let me know. Let me know. I can't be the only one who thinks this is possible. I think she ate it. But let's see the comments. First comment from funny screen name, not they hole. She crossed a boundary to spite you. It's not the cheese, it's the principle. You'd be looking forward to a lifetime of that. You made the right call. I agree. I think breaking up was the right thing to do. It's just avoid the toxicity, avoid the pettiness. Another comment from Gabriella Glamour. Not they whole. She expects you to cater to her whims, even if it means disregarding your financial limitations. While the cheese itself might seem trivial, it symbolizes the larger issue of her constant disregard for your boundaries. Oh, yes, I think, okay, that's a good thing that comment pointed out. The one thing that really bothered me about this is the fact that, okay, OP's the only one working. So she's supporting the whole household right now. And she did a nice thing despite that. Within budget, she tried to do something nice within budget by doing the Airbnb instead of a hotel. And instead, the girlfriend really didn't acknowledge that. If the girlfriend really felt some sort of way or the ex felt really strongly like I hate Airbnbs, I refuse, have a conversation or be nicer about it. Because at the end of the day, there was still a nice gesture there. And I think how you react to that says a lot about who you are as a person. Because if you're going to automatically go, oh no, why would you do that? That's such a bad idea. There's like we're going to get killed in the Airbnb. Like you can panic, but don't lash out at your partner. It just feels like this ex keeps lashing out at OP no matter what she did. And then went straight up, chose violence by eating that cheese or tossing it, whatever she did with it. The moral of the story here is you should at least like your partner and not live in toxicity. And there's no real way to bow out of this. I think OP kind of being very kind of harsh and brutal and just going, pack your stuff, we're done, is the way to go here to address this behavior. Because had it been some sort of leniency in terms of, oh, like you can pack out next week. I just know this girl would do other petty things. I just know your ex would have probably started like, what is it? Like some things I've seen in TV, mixing stuff like maybe hair loss chemicals into your shampoo or like weird hair dyes into your shampoo, switching out your soaps, messing with your clothes. I don't know. She sounds a little unhinged, to be honest. Unhinged. So my verdict is not the hole, and you were actually correct for breaking up with your girlfriend over cheese. On to our next one. Our next story is from the subreddit, Am I the a-hole? Am I the a-hole for telling a child no? Recently at a school event, the teacher asked if the parent group I'm part of could provide cookies and cocoa. I thought it might be nice to provide things to add to the coca. Wait, is it coca or cocoa? Cocoa? I'm having a brain fart moment. Is that cocoa or coca?
I have no idea.
Because
Cocoa, I guess.
I always call it hot cocoa. So I've never
Isn't
seen
isn't
it.
there like cacao? I guess the bean or whatever.
Yeah, but it's a school event. I can't imagine they're putting like cacao for children.
I mean, yeah, it's cocoa, I guess, right?
I'm calling it cocoa. I thought it'd be nice to also provide things to add to the cocoa. In this case, marshmallows, whipped cream, and sprinkles. Ooh, I've never heard of sprinkles added to hot chocolate or cocoa. I had a child tell me that she doesn't drink cocoa and asked for just a cup of whipped cream. No, she and her friends were the first in line. As she ate the chocolate chip cookies, I'm fairly certain it wasn't an allergy to chocolate, just a preference to not drink cocoa. As soon as she asked, the 5 other kids wanted to have just a cup of the whipped cream too. So I could see where this would end up. So I told her no, that I was sorry. I only had a limited supply of the whipped cream. And if I told her yes, I'd have to let everyone do it too. And the people behind her in line wouldn't have cream to add to their cocoa. I offered her a cup to grab some water, but she stomped away mad. 5 minutes later, her mom came up and asked for a cup of whipped cream, and there was another immediate chorus of people wanting cups of whipped cream too. So I explained again about the whipped cream and the people in line, and mom stomped away mad. A teacher who was attending the event with her child and not connected to the class or parent group, only had a child in the class, came up and asked, with the predictable round of, me too. I again explained that there is still a line out the door and down the hall and only having a certain amount of whipped cream available. If I say yes to this child, I'll have to let everyone get cups of cream too. So I was sorry, but the answer is no. When this unconnected teacher caught me with my back turned, she took the whipped cream anyway and gave it to the child, which started an avalanche of folks wanting the same thing. So I kept having to say, no, sorry, no, for the next 45 minutes until everyone had made it through the line. I will say that we didn't end up running out, but the last person to use it got the very last bit out of the last can. So, am I the hole for saying no and for being mad at that person for doing it anyway? This story stressed me out, guys, and I'm only the one reading it. In my head, I'm just imagining. So, this is a volunteer event. So, OP's a parent. OP's like offering to provide cookies and cocoa and with the whipped cream and the toppings and marshmallows. Here's my thing. I kind of have empathy for the little kid, the first kid that asked if she can just have the whipped cream, because personally, I don't like chocolate. I don't like anything cocoa. I don't like anything with cacao, anything like that. So for me, I would be that kid. I would be the one saying, can I just have like a little tiny cup of whipped cream or something? Because I just don't want the cocoa. But I would also be the one to say, oh, I get it. Like you need it for the rest of the cocoa. So that's fine. Whatever. I'll just drink water. It's fine. No big deal, right? Putting the story into perspective is the kids. You know how it is. The minute one kid wants something, everyone wants it. So I think OP as the adult and the parent here made the right decision. Like you say no and you keep it moving, literally with the line. Like everyone needs to get a cup that wants one. What I found kind of out of line for me is the one teacher parent. She's a teacher from another class who also brought her kid. Fine. The minute the person says no, you take the no for an answer and you move on. You don't go and sneak it because now you're setting a horrible example for all the other kids. I can't believe OP did this for 45 minutes. I would lose my mind. At some point, I would have just put up a sign that says, no whipped cream without cocoa. Although, I would have thought, I'm surprised that whipped cream is so popular amongst kids. Do kids just eat cups of whipped cream? Is that a thing?
I guess they do.
When you drink hot chocolate or hot cocoa, I don't know what the difference is. There a difference? Hot cocoa, hot chocolate? They're the same thing, right? Both chocolatey flavored.
Don't ask me this.
Well, when you drink hot chocolate or whatever,
Sure, call it hot chocolate.
do you drink it with toppings? I feel like you just drink as
No,
is.
I don't need toppings personally.
Yeah, so I'm also surprised because usually I don't really see that many people drinking the hot chocolate with toppings or it being sold with toppings. Typically, I just see it as like a, cup on its own. I feel like, Opie, your mistake was bringing the whipped cream. You should have just given the hot cocoa and call it a day. No sprinkles, no toppings. Yep. Be happy. Either take the marshmallows and the dang hot chocolate or don't. I'm actually surprised that most of the kids didn't go, we want the marshmallows like alone or something, like a whole cup of marshmallows. It's pretty easy, but Opie, you're not the a-hole. I'm pissed off though, is the fact that the parent went around you and did it anyway. Because then she brought you 45 minutes of trouble afterwards. Imagine if she didn't do that. I feel like eventually with kids, they learn by example and behavior, right? So after seeing you say no so many times, I feel like everyone would have just shut up. But notice how every single time someone asked, another kid would ask. So, OP, not they whole. And you were trying to be nice. You were trying to volunteer for this teacher thing or this school event and be nice and bring all these things. So I'm kind of upset that they didn't, I guess even the other teacher didn't know better. Now, let's look at some of the comments. First comment, not they won't, but this would turn me off from ever volunteering for this stuff in the future. Oh, yeah. I wonder how many kids OP actually had to get hot cocoa for. Now, OP does respond to this comment. Out of about 100 kids in 2 classes, I'm the only parent that routinely shoes up to help with this sort of thing. So, yeah, not going to be a part of this patent group next year. I think OP meant parent group. I always wondered, what are parents' views on volunteering for school events like this? I find it weird because, in my opinion, the school should have a budget for some sort of end of year holiday event for the kids, like some sort of small, not too expensive thing if they can work in the budget, right? And if they don't end up doing that, fine, they don't do it. But I feel like it's weird to then ask parents to fund kind of school-wide events. I mean, this is like 100 kids. So that's a lot. That's like a whole like holiday party event. And asking a parent to shoulder that alone, that seems kind of weird. But maybe I don't have kids. And maybe I would feel differently if, I don't know, if our cats went to school and, they were like, cat parents, cat moms, we need your help. Can you fund some like fancy feast for the cat babies at the end of the year? Maybe I would feel differently. But this just feels a little bit weird. Like, I get it's a very nice gesture, but I think there's too much pressure for a few single parents to show up and show up alone. Is that just, is that a hot take on the whole parenting thing?
I don't know. I think it should be voluntary, right? If you wanna participate and you wanna do it, I mean, you can.
Did your parents ever like go to any of the school stuff or like volunteer for any of that stuff when you were growing up?
I guess back when I was young, they would help out with
Like
certain things.
like with catering foods like this or like
Well,
more like
it wouldn't be
service thing?
catering, but I guess it would be slightly. I guess where I grew up,
Mhm.
with that. I guess in elementary school, we would like decorate the classrooms and stuff
Oh, that's
for like
cute.
winter season, for example. And some parents will help out and help out with decorations, etc.
See, I think that's nice and I think that's easier. Like, okay, just volunteer your time versus the commitment of like both time and also like trying to fund like all this hot cocoa and toppings and all that stuff. I feel like it's rough. It's kind of weird. I don't know. But then again, my parents were not the type to join in. And my school also like was the type to kind of just organize it on their own. Like they would say, "Oh, if anyone wants to volunteer and support this, like feel free to do so, but don't feel pressured to do it." So then the school would handle everything. So I guess maybe it's just different school districts do different things. Another comment from Walk into the Lake. The teacher who asked you to just bring cocoa, but not things to add to it, probably saw this coming from a mile away. Opie says, "You're probably correct, and I will never again go above and beyond." This is one of those things. Do not invite trouble to yourself, OP. I think it came from a really good intention, but knowing how crazy crowds can be and big groups can be, let this be a lesson. Don't bring extra toppings next time. Another comment from Clever Cat. Not thy hole. As a room mom for many years and countless headaches, welcome to volunteering at a school. Hang in there. You will learn from each experience, and the teachers really do appreciate the help, despite the bad behavior of the one in this story. Opie says, if it had just been the kids, I think it would have been okay. The headaches are caused by the parents. Yep, I would agree. You know how some people talk about, there's a term for like bridezillas, like when brides are like acting unhinged at weddings? I feel like we need a term for unhinged parents. Parentzilla, overzealous parents or something. You know, the parents who just oh, they want the best for their kids. And it comes from a place of good, I think, most of the time. But it's a lot of times it comes at the expense of other people, which I don't like. I think it's one thing to want the best for your kid or want whatever your kid wants, but then when you're inconveniencing so many other people, I think that's where it's a boundary thing. And you need to learn that, hey, socially, this is not okay. You need to chill. And your kid needs to learn that we don't always get what we want. But I guess maybe some kids don't learn that. Maybe they become parents that don't learn that. I don't know. So there is a verdict on the story. The verdict is not the hill. And I have to say, I agree. Any final thoughts on this one?
I don't know, maybe there would have been a better way to kind of handle that, just to say that if you want the whipped cream, you can have it on the side, but everyone gets the same amount. Instead of saying no, I guess.
Mm,
Everyone gets a, I don't know, like a,
little like cup or something for it.
yeah, or something like that, if that's even a thing.
See, I've planned big events before. The first thing my mind goes is, I think on paper that sounds like a great idea. But then the issue then is, if you, for a big
Yeah,
event, then you need someone to scoop the freaking like whipped cream into a cup versus like the big cup that's already there. Or you need to get additional smaller cups for the freaking whipped cream.
yeah,
Or you're going to have issues where people are going to silently start swiping the whipped cream cups, which is, I guess, kind of partly what happened here.
yeah. I somehow think that the whipped cream part was the one that's not the squeezable, but the sprayable one.
I think so. You know what's
Yeah,
funny? When I think of whipped cream, I get like a flashback because there was a story we read before in one of the past episodes where someone went to a barbecue and they brought whipped cream, or no, sorry. Someone in the family wanted whipped cream, but then OP brought Cool Whip, which is apparently not technically whipped cream. And it was like this whole drama.
I think they wanted Cool Whip, but someone brought the generic one,
Oh, yes, they wanted Cool Whip and someone brought generic whip, whatever it was
whipped
called.
topping.
Yes, whipped topping. So I kind of imagine the can too. Like this is not actual fresh whipped cream, but it's like kind of, just the can. Everyone's just swiping it. Some people even like eat it from the can
I
and they
can
just
see
spray
that.
it.
I can see them people doing
Oh
that.
my God. Like I love whipped cream so much, guys, especially with matcha lattes. Like, if you haven't tried it, get a warm matcha latte. You can either make one yourself, like buy like the mix from Trader Joe's, or get one from Starbucks. Like get it warm, spray some whipped cream on top, or I guess whatever brand of Cool Whip you use. So freaking good. So freaking good. Although I would be tempted to eat a little bit of the whipped cream on its own. Did you ever do that as a kid? No?
I don't think I even had whipped cream as a kid.
You've missed out on the joy and a lot of unhealthy calories.
I don't think I missed out, to be honest.
Now, our last story is a little bit of drama. Last one is from the subreddit aita. Am I the a-hole for setting a woman straight when she claimed to be my husband's work wife in my house? This is so brave. This is so brave. Like the story makes me want to read on because I'm like, who is this audacious, sassy diva in a bad way? I, 30-year-old female, am married to my husband, Nick, 35-year-old male, and we have a happy marriage. We've been together for 7 years and we're currently trying for a baby. Oh, this is starting out sweet. Obi says the company where my husband works informed the employees that they will not have a Christmas party this year due to them trying to cut out costs. Some of the guys from his department decided to have something small between them. My husband asked if they can have their gathering at our place, and I said, sure. I was also excited to see two of his colleagues because they worked with me in the past and I wanted to catch up with them. So we hosted last weekend. My husband invited the two colleagues I mentioned earlier who came with their wives, another guy who's also a good friend of ours, and one woman, Lily, who also works with them. We had a great time, and it was very nice for me to be able to see my former colleagues. They were telling me stories from their office, and we really had a fun time remembering our time working together. Lily, however, was very awkward, but I assumed she was just stressed meeting new people. However, she started saying strange things. At first, she mentioned how disappointing it must be for my husband that I don't work in the same field as him because we most likely can never share anything professionally. Then, she said how lucky I am to be able to have my career while being so young. For info, I have a high management position and I work in a mostly male dominated field. The thing is that she was seemingly nice and sweet when saying these things, but I can easily detect when people are trying to be passive aggressive or imply things. Ooh. Yeah, Lily's trying to start something. Oh, I can imagine she's one of those types of people who are just saying, she probably has a very soft demeanor too. And she says things very nice with a smile, but everything is like jabs, like mini jabs. What do you mean? Oh, you're so lucky to have occurred when you're so young. Let me just translate that for you guys. That really means, yeah, you don't really deserve it. You're kind of young for that. Are you really inexperienced? Probably. It just so catty. And the whole, oh, this is such a weird thing to say for to me. At a event where you don't really know the hosts and their family either that well. And she's like, "Oh, it's such a shame that you don't work in the same field as your husband. It must be hard to not be able to share anything professionally with each other." Why are you implying there's a distance between the husband and wife? Why are you implying anything about someone else's relationship? Just, ugh. I just feel like people like Lily just make me want to go and shut up. Like, just shh. Just, you don't have to say anything. Opie says, later on, Nick was sorting an order out in the kitchen with our friend, and I was in the living room with the rest. We were having a drink, and the guys were mocking my husband's habits of not paying attention during meetings. Lily then said that it's good that Nick has his work wife there to make life easy for him. I was confused and asked what a work wife was. Lily laughed and asked me how is it possible to not know what a work wife was. The two other wives backed me up and mentioned they never heard this term either. So Lily explained that a work wife is a woman who works closely with a guy, knows him very well and helps him out at work, therefore acting as his wife. She also told me I don't need to feel insecure or jealous because there's nothing wrong with it. Excuse me? For someone who's so quiet the rest of the evening, Lily sure has a lot to say now that she started talking. Oh my gosh, she's in her house. I would have booted Lily out the door. This is I I'm speechless. I don't know what to say. First of all, I don't think work wife is a very common term anymore. I think it's a more of an old school term. It used to be more of a thing. Nowadays, it's not really used anymore for good reason. I think it's a weird thing to say to infer that, oh, you got another woman at work who knows you almost as well as your wife. That's weird. So, and I feel like, is it just me? Lily's insinuating that she's the the husband's or Opie's husband's work wife. Are you getting that
I'm definitely getting the vibe, but I guess going back to the phrase "work wife,"
vibe?
I mean, yeah, beside like first time hearing it, you would assume it's like someone's wife at work,
Right?
and
Like you would assume it's
and
someone
it's
they're
not
married to and they also work
right.
with.
It's not just a work relationship. It's more than that. That's
Yeah.
what it would imply.
Yeah.
But does the phrase actually mean that, or does it's just the phrase? I don't know. That's just work wife, but there's no actual any romantic or anything, any romantic, I guess, feelings or anything like that going on.
So when I hear it, and typically when I've seen it used, it usually infers that there's someone, at least even if it's not physical, there's someone emotionally more connected, almost similar to a wife, to whoever they're the work wife of. So there's something going on. It's just, I don't know if you can define it as, oh, they're not, they could or could not be sleeping together, but they could still be the work wife. Like it's someone there's emotional, occupying emotional space in the husband's mind. That's how I see it. Mm, I hate it. Is there a see, you know what's weird to me? Why isn't there an equivalent? You never hear like, "Oh, that's your work husband."
I think that's a thing too, right?
Really? Ew, does Lily walk around Oh my gosh, what if Lily's walking around saying, "Your husband, oh Pete, your husband is her work husband." That's weird. Oh no, honey. Mm-mm. If some chick, if we were hosting at our house,
Jousting.
hosting. Housing, or no, oh God, not housing, hosting a bunch of your coworkers, and a chick from your workplace comes up to me and is like, I'm so sorry that you don't work with M. Don't worry about it. I got him covered at work, girl. Don't you worry about it. I would be like, there's the door. You can leave. And then you and I would have a conversation because I would need to be in the loop on what's going on here. Oh no, that makes me mad. And she's so brave. This girl is so brave. She's saying it in your home at an event hosted by you in front of all your coworkers or your husband's coworkers. Is she trying to break up your marriage? I feel like she is. Lily is Lily is evil. I'm going with that. No, I'm so mad. Opie says, she also told me I don't need to feel insecure or jealous because there's nothing wrong with it. In that moment, I was pissed but kept my cool and responding to her smiling that I have no reason to feel insecure since I'm the legal wife and actually the only legally and morally recognized partner of my husband. I added that it seems she doesn't know my husband that well because if she did, she would have known that we're not the jealous type since his best friend is a girl, and I also have male friends. I think her comments rubbed everyone present the wrong way because when my husband came from the kitchen, one of the guys loudly asked him something along the lines of, "Dude, have you heard of work wives?" And my husband, in his own characteristic way, made a face and said, "No, what the F is that?" After everyone left, I told my husband what happened, and he said Lily is crazy because they are not close and that she's in no way anything else to him other than a work colleague. I truly believe my husband, and I surely know he does not encourage Lily in this. But today, Nick told me that Lily has been complaining around the office that I was rude to her while she was a guest in my house and that I humiliated her in front of her colleagues. The guy who was my former colleague and who was present when this all happened defended me in their office and told her that maybe she shouldn't try to stir shit in other people's homes, and that even his own wife was bothered by what she said. It is sweet that my former colleague defended me, and I appreciate it. But this caused Lily to tell their colleagues that me and the wives are jealous of her and ganged up against her. My husband and the guys have been telling people that her claims are not true, but I feel bad. So, what I'm asking is, was I really that rude to her? I know my faults and I know I have a temper and I'm impulsive. So now I think that all this office drama could have been avoided if I did not answer back. Ah, classic. Oh, Lily is a mastermind. She is starting little fires everywhere and hoping the whole forest will burn down. Oh, this girl is conniving. OP, I think you stood your ground. You confronted her when it was appropriate in a manner that was just justified. It wasn't over the top, it wasn't underreacting. I think you handled it so well and so gracefully. I don't think I would have the composure to just keep on smiling and answer so maturely the way you did, OP. So kudos to you. You're not the a hole at all. Lily is odd. Usually, I do have a seed of doubt depending on who's telling the story, right? Grain of salt, because OP's writing stories will also have their own biases. But in this case, the fact that, come on, your coworkers and everyone present was kind of like weirded out by what was going on says a lot too. And I bet you the other wives are also telling their husband after the event, like they're also pulling their husband aside and going, "Did you hear what Lily said back there at the house? Like at that event just now?" And the husband's like, "Yeah, wasn't that weird?" Yes. Like, I bet you those were the conversations that were happening right after that little gathering at your house. Like, you were not the only one to find it weird. I'm glad that the other women are also stepping up and standing up for you because, okay, I like that. Girls support girls. But love that the husbands are also stepping up and calling it out at work and saying, "Nope, that's not what happened. Nope. OP did not attack you in her house or humiliate you. You were making things weird by bringing up all this work wife stuff." So kudos to you. And you know what? Besides Lily, it seems like based on the coworkers and the colleagues that your husband works with, they're generally pretty nice. And I can see why, you guys chose to host them at your house. Like they seem pretty chill. Let's see what the comments say. First comment from the next Okage. Nateo, work wife is a pretty common term, so I'm surprised none of you guys had heard it, but she was probably upset that all the guys she'd been farming attention from at work have wives at home that they care about more than her. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Another comment, not the whole. You addressed Lily's inappropriate comments in a calm and reasonable manner. The concept of work wife might be harmless in some contexts. I would have to disagree there. I don't think work wife is ever an okay context to say anywhere. But Lily's presentation was clearly meant to provoke. Your reaction was justified given the setting and her implications. It's unfortunate that this has led to office drama, but the issue lies with how Lily handled the situation, not with your response. You're right to clarify the boundaries and correct any misconceptions in your own home. I agree. This was such a nice way of handling it. And I like that we're kind of ending tonight's I guess storytelling time with a very okay, it's a little fiery, I have to admit, it's a little fiery, but very chill way because I really love that OP put this woman in her place. No one gets to go into your house and say that they're your husband's work wife. That's just not how it goes. So Lily's brave. Lily's brave for that. And I'm glad that she's getting the clapbacks that she truly deserves from other coworkers and other people calling her out. And I hope, Obi, that your husband is going to continue. I would suggest your husband distance himself, if he hasn't already, from Lily slightly more, because Lily seems like the type to thrive on drama. And I'm worried that she's going to make up other rumors, not just about you, but maybe your husband, and potentially it might hurt the work situation or the work environment even more. So, just word of caution. I don't think you or your husband have done anything wrong, but I would just advise you guys to stay the heck away from Lily as much as possible for your own sanity's sake. I think Lily was banking on the fact that she's a guest at the home. So she didn't think that OP would kind of confront her, call her out on it. So I think she was banking on like, oh, like I can say whatever I want because I'm a guest and no one's going to confront me, make it weird or anything. So I'm glad that Lily was called out. So those were our stories for tonight, guys. I hope you enjoyed this one. I think they all kind of coincidentally had very Christmassy themed, although some more fiery than others and some more chocolatey than others. So if you guys enjoyed this one, don't forget to like this episode and comment below what you thought, which one was your favorite stories, and have you ever had moments where you had to confront someone publicly? Let me know, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel. If you're listening to me on Spotify, don't forget to rate me 5 stars. Thanks, guys. I'll see you next one. Bye.